Hey, you guys. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for being here. And thank you for jumping in today. Today we are here to talk about online scams. And so my name is Nicole Maxwell. I am your hostess for the day. And we are broadcasting to a few different places today. Everything that we are doing is underneath the umbrella of Black Multiverse Enterprises. And so I am very happy to have all of you guys here today and really just want to kind of just sit in the fact that like this is happening. This is kind of cool. I am trying to open up one of our other streaming locations. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it though, so I'm just gonna drop that. Anyway, so we're here today to talk about online scams. What do online scams look like? How can you keep yourself safe throughout the beginning of the year and throughout everything that's about to happen, which is the holiday season. We love the holidays. We know the holidays are coming. Some people consider us inside of the holiday season already. And so that is what today's session is about. It is about being able to keep yourself safe through the holidays. So before we get started, we're going to have a few words from our sponsors, and then we are going to go ahead and dive into the training session. So if you are here, you may be watching us and you're on YouTube, or you may be watching us worldwide on the Black Business Network, courtesy of Pod TV, as well as Hulu, Roku, Amazon Prime. You might be listening to this later on a podcast, a Google podcast, or anywhere in between, iHeartRadio, maybe even Apple. Who knows? But we are appreciative of all of our listeners, all of our sponsors, and this is a community and a event and a moment, a training session that can be used for everybody. So no matter who you are, you have an opportunity to be scammed. That is the truth. And so you want to reduce that opportunity, reduce your potential for being a target. And there's some things that you can do to help keep yourself safe. And so we want to make sure that you know what those things are, and that you are able to kind of change some of your habits and your behaviors and keep an eye out for some other things as they are happening. So we are very happy to have several different locations going on today. So if you're watching us on YouTube, hey, if you are in our Google Meet, hello. For the folks in Google Meet, I would ask that you just be patient because I got to get through some things for the network first. But I would also ask that when you are asking your questions, not to use your actual names unless you want those revealed on a global platform. So I will not be sharing your faces and things like that. but I just want to make sure that you are knowing kind of the situation you're in. So we are broadcasting this global. All right. So, as well as streaming it on YouTube. So, with that said, we have a couple words from our sponsors, and then we will get cracking on the training session for the day. Thank you guys. And we're back. We're live. All right. So that is a word from our sponsors. Always good to hear from Artsy in VR if you ever need a luxury space created for virtual reality experiences, or even just a browser experience. Artsy's your girl. You can either connect with me or connect with her directly. Either way, you're going to have a magnificent experience. My name is Nicole Maxwell. I'm the CEO of Black Multiverse Enterprises. I am also the founder of the Blackverse community, the owner of Technical Consulting, the hostess of and the executive producer of the Meta Mindshift Show, and I am also a proud board member for the Black Business Network Olympics and Expo. And so all of those things are all about my mission to make sure that we have some possibilities in the future. We can disrupt some things in the present. So I am thankful for you guys being here. We are broadcasting to many, many, many different locations right now. And I am also thankful for all the folks who popped into the Grow with Google meet session that is going on right now. It is a webinar, and so they are going to be able to ask questions as we're going through today's session. So getting started now with our training. Today's training is all about how to stay safe from online scams. So we're going to learn what is a scam. How can you recognize scams, and what are some warning signs? What are like best practices to keep you safe? And you're also going to learn how to navigate in Google Docs a little bit. So if you don't know how to do that, we have a really great course that actually was I taught on Tuesday as a part of our trainings that we are getting out here into the world. We're helping people to understand how to use some tools that are at your disposal. So everybody who has a Gmail account may just be using Google for email. But did you know that you have access to a whole bunch of tools out here that you can also make use of? And so I'm going to share with you now our little banner. This is our Grow with Google Basics series. This series is happening from October through December. And this is something that I will be teaching every day, every week. We will be meeting on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10 a.m. or to noon Eastern Standard Time. And so I'm going to be training on various topics. So every topic, every Tuesday, every Thursday, the topic will change, and you are able to tap in and join us. Um, you're going to be able to go to blackmultiverse.live and watch things live on YouTube. Or if you want to, you can sign up for the actual course to get involved with the actual training as it's happening. So the people that you hear come on and ask questions, they've registered for the course. The courses are free. And this is something that we are doing just to make sure that our communities have access to some things that can help them skill up. So as I said earlier, Black Multiverse Enterprises is a proud high impact partner with Grow with Google. We are high impact certified for the rest of the year, and pretty darn happy about that. Today's session is all about how to stay protected from online scams. And so that is what we are going to dive right on into. And I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. All right. And so now we are going to talk about how to stay safe from online scams. So welcome to the session. If you're here, you're going to want to break out a notepad, break out a pen, obviously, your laptop, your keyboard, keypad, anything like that. Make sure that you can get yourself ready to go, because we're going to be talking a little bit about the tools that you can use to keep yourself safe and to keep your personal information and your money or your crypto safe. We're going to have a special segment at the end of this that goes through a few tips for staying safe in Web3. That is not an exhaustive course by any means. It is just a little thing that happened to me that I want to share with you because we were having this session. So some really cool stuff in store. All right, so today we are going to learn how to open a new document. So again, this is basic. So if you already know how to open up a Google Doc, you're going to learn how to do that again. Maybe you might learn a new methodology for it. You'll be able to participate in that by practicing and typing in to the Google Docs so that you can create all your notes in there, or create notes however you're comfortable. And then we're going to be talking about what online scams are and what scammers are looking for. We're going to be covering different ways to protect your information and some examples of scams so that you can see like what's actually out here, what's happening, what is happening to people. And you may have been a victim of this and not even known it. So there's some things that you might get hip to. All right. So we are going to go ahead and get started. And so, all right, online scams, your stories. Let's talk about this. To my folks in Google Meet, what have you guys heard about online scams? Have you or someone you know ever been approached online or by like a person or by like a business that you thought was running a scam? Anybody? Anybody in the Google Meet?
Definitely, I've been approached in my email.
Yeah.
So like, it's not a company or anything like that. It's like a first name that they approach you to open up the email, and then they talk to you like the way they're talking to you as if, you know, I don't know, like they really want to do business with you or something. It's like, how did you even get my contact information in the first place? And they're like, oh, well, click this link to In my case, because I'm a professional photographer, we have some leads for you. So, we want to make sure that we give you those leads and you provide these jobs. So click this link. So I've been getting that a lot lately when they send me like fake checks. It's weird.
Oh yeah. All of those things I've experienced too, all of them. And it's really prevalent out here. And some people they don't recognize those as scams, and so they're like, "Oh, you have a check for me? Okay, well, shoot, that's money. Let me go. Let me go fill this out real quick, and I'm gonna give you all my information. You send me my money, and then no money ever comes." Those are excellent examples of scams. That's things that are actually happening out here to people on a daily basis. So we want you guys to stay safe. All right. All right, so as you may or may not know, if you are here, we are talking about Google. So one thing you're going to want to do to be able to access the tools that we're talking about today is sign in. So if you have a Gmail account, you're going to be able to sign into that account and then access the apps that we're going to be able to go through. If you do not, then go ahead and create one. And so you can go through those steps really quickly. What you're going to do is, if you're following along, go to google.com, and you're going to be able to click on sign in up in the upper left right hand corner, and then type in and then if you're signed in already, if you already have an account or many accounts like I do, you're going to be able to sign in. If you are setting it up, you'll be able to create an account instead. All right. And we won't wait for you to do that, but go ahead and do that so you can follow along with us. If you have questions and maybe you're doing this for the first time, chime in with those questions, and I will get those answered for you. All right. All right. So this is one thing that you can do, and I don't know that we're actually talking about this today, but on this screen, familiarize yourself with Google. Because if you have clicked a link from somewhere and somebody redirects you to a page that is not Google, or maybe you fat fingered it and you typed it wrong, you can easily transition yourself to another site that is mimicking Google. So make sure that you are familiar with what Google is supposed to look like. It doesn't really change too often. The one thing that they do change sometimes is the Google logo when there's something special going on, or it's a special day or a special month. They might have tributes or information that you can use that's there. And so that Google logo will change from time to time, but the domain should always be google.com. So make sure that it's not Google with two zeros instead of two O's. Make sure that it is not an I, or I'm sorry, an L instead of, or an I instead of an L. Make sure that it's not a one instead of an L. Make sure that it is google.com. Okay. So that's one tip right off the bat. Okay. All right. So we are signing in here. We're still signing in. Signing in is a process that ensures that only you are able to actually access your information and your account. Open up a new tab in your browser and go to google.com. If you're not already signed in, you're going to click on sign in, and that's what the screen is showing you now, is how to sign in. All right. So most people have already done this before. Again, if you're catching up to us and maybe this is your first time, maybe you're coming from the Apple ecosphere, so you don't know anything about Google because you're a diehard Apple user, that's cool too. Follow along with the steps, and maybe you will learn something that will be helpful in what you're doing, right? Okay, so now we've gotten through sign in. Sign in is pretty simple. Like I said, you're going to want to be mindful of where you're signing into, because if they're able to mimic that site and you stick in your password and your username, guess what? You've just given your password and username to somebody who does not deserve it. So make sure that you keep that close, okay? So now we're going to learn how to create a new Google Doc. So what you're going to do is go ahead and go to the app button on the top that is next to your little icon. Okay, so in the upper right hand corner, you're going to be able to see a icon that looks like either the image that you've uploaded for yourself, if you've previously changed your avatar, your profile picture. If you have not done that, then you're going to be able to see a letter. Usually that is the first letter of the name that you put in for your Google account. I didn't say your name because oftentimes we put in other things in some of these. So if you're somebody who takes security seriously, maybe you put in a nickname or a pseudonym that you go by. You are able to see that reflect there. Now, if you are a power user, I am a power user. I have many, 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 many different Google accounts, more than I can hold on to actually. So make sure that you are selecting the right account for what you want to do today. Okay. All right. So when you click the icon, it looks like a dial pad right next to your profile picture or your avatar that's there. You're going to see the apps come out. And so the app drawer expands and you're able to see that on screen. So what we're going to do is click on Google Docs. All right. So it looks like that if you're following along on screen. Google Docs is blue. And you're going to be able to click on that. And then when it comes up, it will say Docs at the top, and then there will be a plus button. And so that plus button is what we're going to do. That'll allow us to create a blank document. Okay, so this is going to show us having a new document open up. All right, now I'm going to tell you straight off the cuff, we're going to skip through this pretty fast because Tuesday we actually did a full training on how to use Google Docs. So if you don't know how to use Google Docs, tap into our YouTube. You can find that at blackmultiverse.live and then go to the how to create a Google Doc or Google Docs basics course that we did on Tuesday, October 11th. Okay. Today is Thursday, October 13th. And so today we are talking about this really quickly, but you're going to be able to give your document a title. Up at the top, just click in where it says untitled document. Click that once and then start typing, and that will give your document a title in the upper left-hand corner. All right, and then you're going to type this, whatever you want to actually name this document, but we suggest avoid online scams so that you know how to find it later. All right, so when you are able to do that, it'll look just like this. All right. Now you're going to go ahead and do that. And if you have done that successfully, your document now has a name. Okay. So we're going to skip through some of this. We've done that. Okay. Now let's talk about scams. So you can use this Google Doc that you just created to take your notes about today's session. So we are talking all about scams today. So let's start. What is a scam? All right, y'all. So a scam is a deliberate attempt to cheat someone out of their money or their personal information. A scam is something that is fake appearing to be real. Okay. Scams are not new. People have been scamming people since the beginning of time. But scams online are a new way to take advantage of others. And they've been out there for a very long time. On the internet, it's on the rise. So social media has made this really, really easy, especially sites like Instagram and Facebook, where they don't take identity seriously. That is unfortunate because a lot of us are out here and people are replicating us like nobody's business, like a rabbit in heat. It is not fun. But since you can communicate with just about anyone who's online, it makes it really easy for people to commit scams. People who commit scams are called scammers. Okay, so that's what we call them. That's the name that you give them. Some people call them hackers. Those are different because they're actually using technology to do it. Other people are just using charisma. Okay, so that's one thing that can distinguish one from another. And they can use the internet very quickly to find and contact anyone with an online presence. And so if there are people who are out here with malicious intent, they are doing the things that you do on a daily basis, but doing them with that intent. So instead of being productive members of communities and out here trying to help people, they are targeting you, making you their prey, and then making your community the prey that they feed on, right? So they start with you, and then they expand into everything that you're into, right? So scammers can work anonymously. They build websites, they tack on email addresses, they create fake social media profiles. They make it really difficult to find them or track them down. So what I mean by that is they're not out here using John Roberts as their name. They are out here using your name as their name. And sometimes they're building up social profiles that actually are better than yours. And so because they're so experienced at this, they're able to get out here and really get what we call sticky inside of the community. And so eventually people can't even tell like who's who, who's what's what. All right. So today's session is aimed at helping you to get to the crux of that. I've got some stories on my own that I'm going to share with y'all. Um, but the goal of this workshop isn't to make you distrustful of people that you meet. So let's just be clear about that. Like, we don't want to make you kind of have this hesitation for everybody. But one of the great things about the internet is kind of how we interact and engage with each other. So we want to keep that up, but we just want to do it in a safe way, right? So it's important to know how to spot some scammers and some potential scams so you can keep yourself safe and keep your personal information even safer. All right, so what do they want? All right, so now that we know what they want, so they're contacting people that they meet or they find influential on the internet. What do they want? They are looking for two things, and usually that's it. They're very basic, right? So they either want your personal information or they want your money. And so we heard our participant in the Google Meet session say that she's, had the people who come after like the bank account information, and they say that they have a check for you, but you got to give them your bank account information first, and then they're going to forward you the check or forward you that ACH clearance right away. And we all know that that is probably not happening. So scammers are looking for those two things, the money and the personal information. So what does money look like? Money looks like anything that is in the form of a bank payment, a wire transfer, a credit or debit card payment, gift cards, things like that. So that's what they're looking for. And when they're coming after your personal information, it is anything that can help them become you or get into your information. So they're going to be looking for, of course, passwords. They're going to be looking for website passwords, passwords for your social media accounts. Any kind of password that you have here, if you're a Web3 participant, people are looking for seed phrases. And so they're coming after you and targeting you for those. If we're sticking with Web2, personal information includes your social security number. It includes your debit card numbers. It includes all your bank account information, credit card information, where you do business. So sometimes they're not just coming after you um, for the passwords themselves, but they want to know where you go so they can start targeting those things. So there's a whole entire black market that this stuff gets sold and traded and transacted in, and they're able to take the bits of information they have about you and then know where to go and find those other things. So we want to make sure that you're keeping yourself safe. Okay, scammers make money by selling your information to a third party. So I just said that there's a black market. There is a black market out here, and that third party can then use your information for whatever they want to do it for. So they are able to take advantage of you in many, many, many different kinds of ways. We want to make sure that you are safe. All right. Oh. Okay, so there are all types of personal information that seem less confidential than, let's say, your password. But it's still important to keep it safe for the sake of your online security. So if you're logging into your bank account, you might be asked security questions. Those security questions often include things like the basics. What is your mother's maiden name? How many of you guys have been asked that before? Just think about that. Well, if that's your security question, and you go around talking about your mother by her maiden name all the time, maybe that's not a security question you want to actually be picking. So be aware of things like that, right? So make sure that what you're setting as your security protocols and parameters, that those are things that are private to you. I often don't even answer these questions correctly. Like um, I created a system that I know that literally nobody else on the planet would know for answering these questions. So it's whatever I think of in my head when I hear certain words, right? So I'm able to then use that, right? So when I get the question might be, "What is your mother's maiden name?" But my answer is always going to be Apple, right? It's not, but if like that's an example, right? So you want to be aware of anyone online who's trying to get that information from you. So I had somebody who's actually a security professional, and there was one day that we were talking, and this person was really, really digging and digging and digging and digging into the types of fruit that I ate. And it struck me as so weird because it was completely random and out of the blue. And so it made me pause on all the types of information that I had been sharing with this person. And so I kind of have distanced myself completely from that person. But there's all sorts of different things that people can do to try to like really find out what it is that you're doing, the information that you're setting for your own passwords and safety. So, like I said, you don't want to be paranoid, but you do want to be aware. So just make sure that you are that person who's aware and aware of what people can do. All right, so if you're using social media, you've likely come across some quizzes, right? So everybody likes a good quiz. Things that they say that they're trying to find out about your personality type. This one, it's kind of like, eh, it's hard, right? Like, so maybe you do want to have that moment where you're understanding and you're diving into your personality. So like you're training or you're telling this quiz all this information. But if they get your name, they know the password that you're entering, and then you use something that is common to every single type of password that you have. You've just now made, and let's say that the site is malicious, you just made it that much easier to be able to gain access to something else of yours that might be out there. Okay. Um, Maybe you've been able to ask questions like, what would your name be if you were on a character in a popular TV show? If you automatically pop in the name that you use as your password, they gotcha, right? So be aware that sometimes these things are actually malicious and they're out here just trying to get your information. So um, they're designed as protocols to help get the answers to some really hard to guess security questions about you. And sometimes they might even ask you, yeah, what was the name of your older sister? What's your sister's older name? Think about that. Like, why are you actually asking me that? Unless we're having a conversation about my sister, why is that coming up? And so those are usually security questions, and those are ways that people get at you. All right, so avoid participating in those kinds of quizzes and avoid participating in those kinds of conversations because you are leading them right down the rabbit hole of finding out who you are and how you set your passwords. Okay, so first of all, don't set your passwords like that. The good news is that you're able to outsmart some scammers if you learn the signs of detecting a potential scam. You're able to protect your information online. So we're going to spend the rest of the workshop. We're going to talk about some common types of scams that get people a lot. All right. So let's look at a few of these. As you're talking, as we're talking, as you're thinking about some of these, write down kind of your thoughts and whether or not this has actually happened to you or whether it's piquing any of those spidey senses in the background about any encounters that you're having or have had lately. All right. So let's go ahead and check this one out. Okay, so this one. This is very similar to this actually happened to me too. So this is very similar to an email that we're going to review at the end. But this one is a warning email, right? So how do they try to contact you? One, They give you the sense of urgency. In Web3, we have this FOMO concept. And so FOMO is fear of missing out. This is fear, right? So this is just straight up fear. So urgent. Your big city bank account has been compromised, okay? And then they have the logo. The logo may be the right logo for big city bank. And then they have the email, and it's all formal. It looks really official, right? Dear Joe, your city bank, so it should say your big city bank account has been compromised. Secure your account immediately by providing us with your ID, your password, and your social security number. For your convenience, click on the link below to submit your information. And then, of course, the link is called Secure My Account. And then, of course, they thank you, because why not? You're just going to give over all that. Thank you so much. And then they sign it Big City Bank. Okay, so let's break this down. We're going to look at this before I read off what they want me to tell you. I'm going to tell you everything that I'm seeing on this. So first of all, when I get emails like this, the first thing I do is, who was it from? As business owners, it is imperative that if we have domains, we start communicating through our emails using that actual domain name. This is coming from a Gmail account. So what bank do you know that sends messages from Gmail? That is the first red flag there. The second one, you're able to use different emails for different things. I highly recommend that you get into a practice of doing that. Who was the email sent to? For me, anybody that I am just kind of like signing up for a service, they get one email. After I've actually signed in and looked at things, I change that email to something else. So which phase of life is that email sitting in? And that helps me. That's a little complex. That's a little bit more advanced. So we won't give that out as a tip, but it's possible to do that. Second of all, and most importantly, down in the middle, it says your login ID, your password, and your social security number. There is not a bank on the planet in the year of 2022 or 2023 that is going to be asking you for any of that over email. They are not going to be asking you for that over the phone. Those things are just not going to happen because people know that people are out here phishing. So they have changed all of their business practices. And if you find an entity of any kind, whether it's a bank or not, that is doing that, you want to run from them because they are not keeping your information safe. So you absolutely want to run. The next thing I would say is hover over the link that says secure my account, and you're going to be able to see where that actual link is going to, and then verify that link. Don't click the link, but go ahead and type it into your browser. And if you can't type it into your browser, it's kind of iffy, right? Like in conjunction with everything else on this, I would never click anything. But if it was something that maybe potentially could be possibly legit, like I would go to the main site and then navigate my way to where they were trying to get me to go by using the URL at the top. That's a little bit more complex too, but those are all different ways that you can help keep yourself safe, especially as we're heading into the holidays and people are going to be coming at you left and right. All right, so those are the things that I noticed. Now we're going to talk about what they wanted you to notice, what Google wants you to notice. So first of all, this type of scam is called a phishing scam. That's what it's called, fish. They are fishing for information. So y'all have been fishing before. You cast the reel out and then you pull it back and see what happens. What'd you get? That's phishing. Phishing in technology is spelled P-F-I-S-H-I-N-G. So it's P-F, not F. Okay. When a scammer impersonates a company or a person in order to trick someone into giving something and giving up their valuable information, that is called phishing. Okay. Usually, phishing is done on emails. It can also be done through an internet ad or through a copy of a website, which is also called a mirror. It looks very similar to the one that you use, but that domain name is different. Okay. For example, you might be able to receive an email from your bank, a store that you're shopping at, an online payment processor somewhere, and usually they're going to say, there's a problem with your account. We just need your login information to fix it. That's how you know. That is how you know, okay? This email states that you need to act immediately. That sense of urgency that we talked about, that is a tool that these scammers are using a whole bunch. So make sure that you're mindful and of things that are calling you to act quickly and urgently. Sometimes that's true, but other times it's just not. Okay. Urgency can be used to make you feel like you're really excited or super concerned. But either way, they want you to act on emotion. The real purpose behind urgency in a scam is to get you to do a transaction or provide that information so that they can do all the transactions that they want to on your behalf. All right. If you think it's a situation of urgency, reach out to the contact methods that you know are legit and ask if that's actually the case. So if you're talking about bank scams and things like that, if there's actually something wrong with your bank, get on the phone and call the number. Don't call the number on the email that they've given you. Call the number of the bank. Like you can search for that on Google. You should have your the information that you received when you signed up for that account and the phone number that appears on the actual website. Those are all ways to reach out to a bank or entity like a bank to actually keep yourself safe. Okay. All right. So here's the next thing: links and attachments. So first of all, the scam usually will contain a link to a form to fill out. There might actually be an attachment too, but either way, this can be sent. It doesn't have to be email. It can also go over social media or even just in your text messages. So be aware of that because text message fraud is on the rise too. Links are used to collect information about you, upload, some malicious information to your devices, or to collect your email contacts. Because once they have that, they can reach out to your whole network. I told you it's about acquiring other targets sometimes. Some scams encourage people to open up these attachments so they can, and then once you click it, you're opening up that attachment. That's a virus, and so that virus goes in and infects everything that you've got going on, right? Whether it's your phone or your device, maybe even a tablet, right? So if you're not sure about whether something or is a scam or not, just don't click the links. Like, it's okay not to click links. Don't fill out the forms. Don't do anything with attachments from the questionable source. Just let it go. If it was serious, they will contact you in another way, or you can contact them in another way. But do not, don't, the reason I said like don't call the number that's on that specific email, because I'm going to give you the number. If you're a scammer, they're going to give you the number that they want you to call, and then their professional service is going to answer the phone. And of course it sounds like professional service, so they want to professionally service you out of all of your information. Okay. All right, so legitimate businesses, that's the keyword there. Legitimate businesses will never ask you for your login information or other personal details through email. If a legitimate business needs you to log into your account, they're going to instruct you on how to do that. They're not going to ask you to give them that information to some random customer support person who's working for them. That doesn't make sense. Okay, so make sure that you're thinking about how you can keep yourself safe anytime that scenario happens. If you're going to receive a questionable email from either a bank or a business, you can always call. So I said that. If you need to visit the business's website, make sure that you're the one typing it into your browser. Okay. So there's a lot of different ways that you can scam somebody and put in automation in doing that, that it will route you to a wrong site if you're going to a certain other site. Make sure that you're keeping yourself safe. Type in your own links. Okay, so here's something that happens on the phone, right? So scammers often use threats or threatening tone to get you money, to get your money or your information. These threats are scary. Like literally. It's like, what? They scare people into giving the information and the payment information, and they don't even get an opportunity to realize that they've been scammed because they're freaking out. An example of this was one that actually happened to a friend of the organization a couple of months ago. He got a call, and that call said, "Hey, Mr. So and so, your property is about to lose its electricity because you haven't paid your electric bill. Can you give me the account information, and I'll go ahead and process that so that we can make sure that it doesn't go down in 30 minutes." Well, what? So that is that is a way that people can get you. And if you don't pause long enough to say what, you're over here saying, what? And you're giving out that information like, I can't lose my utilities. And so then, you give them over everything that they asked for. And they're like, okay, thank you. And then get off the phone. You never hear from them again. And of course, your lights and utilities don't go off, but you are definitely a victim.
I do want to. Oh, oh,
Hey, did we have a question on Google Meet? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and mute again. So if you are in the situation, take a breath and just pause. Step through things and just do that with everything. Even if it's an emergency, you will feel better because you took a minute to collect yourself and really get it out there. People can threaten you with humiliation. So there's another type of scam, and that is where people take your, or they threaten to take over your device, right? So this is another type of scam that happens, and scammers send you like an email. They claim that they've hacked your device, and they've got embarrassing footage of you, and they're going to share it with everybody. So sometimes they have like this old password because they bought it from somebody, and so they have this old password, and it's a legit password for you. So you're like, oh wait a minute, they actually do know me. They know exactly what I've been doing. Oh my gosh, and you're freaking out about that, and that proves that they got you right. But if you stop and just take a minute, change your password, and then know that you're going to be okay. Just don't click any links in those emails, and you'll be okay. So those are ways that people can get you. Now, they also can use that to actually attack your computer. So if you click one of those links in emails like that, they actually can send a virus to your computer, and that will lock everything up. And then they have what's called a ransomware attack on your device. And so you want to keep yourself protected from all things, right? So you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're setting yourself up to be that person, right? All right. So let's do what would you do? All right. What would you do if you got an email like this? If you receive an email that you think is a phishing email, you're going to go ahead and first you're going to know it's fake and you're going to just ignore it. Okay. So, first of all, you can delete it. That's the first thing. Before that, though, you want to make sure that you are not responding to the email. Um, because that validates your email to them. Now, they may be using one of these services to send their emails, so they know that you actually opened that email. There are marketing tactics that let you know somebody has opened an email, but you don't have to further validate that by a response. So don't give them a real email address, okay? And then don't click any emails in the attachments. And then if you know that it's phishing, you can report it, okay? So we're going to show you how to do that next. So here's how to report an email. So this is an email that we received. We're going to go ahead and report it. So in Gmail, now most email services allow you to report phishing. In Gmail, that's what we're going to use to demonstrate. Okay, so you're going to be able to, on the top right of the email, you'll see an icon that looks like three dots. You're gonna click that, and then gonna so it's called the more menu, but we call it the three dots because that's what everybody calls it. And then you're going to click on the fish report phishing from the context menu that shows up. And then at the bottom, you're going to see the report email. Hold on. Let me actually step through that in my email so I can make sure I tell you the right thing. So I'm here, we're gonna do this, and then report phishing. Yeah. So a message comes up, and um, that message says, hey, you know, it's a very long message that comes up and it gives you a whole bunch of information about phishing. All right. So it outlines the email that you have, and then that pop-up tells you what happens when you report something as phishing. So a couple things to note about that. Just because you've clicked the report phishing button, you still have to confirm again that you wanted to report that message as phishing. And then you'll be able to see that. So if you use an email account from somewhere else, it looks a little bit different. All right. So we're going to move on to the next type of scam. All right. So this one is on a job site. All right. So we are going to look at what this looks like. And this one says $5,000 to $10,000 per day. You can work from home. Choose your own schedule. Make as much money as an undercover. Make money as an undercover shopper. 15 hours a week, $80,000 a year bonus plus bonus. Or I'm sorry, $80,000 plus bonuses. No interview necessary. Email awesomesecurityjob@gmail.com. Okay, so this could probably be on like a Craigslist or something. That is what it looks like. But you're going to look at what do you notice. So first of all, you're noticing emojis. Um, most jobs and most employers are not going to be putting emojis in the title of their job. Most of them are also going to have a title for the job, for the role. You're going to be able to see, maybe $5,000 to $10,000 per day is normal in your neck of the woods, but I'm gonna go ahead and wager that in most necks of the woods, that is not normal. So think about that. And then, yeah, choosing your own schedule, that's regular. Like, yeah, maybe that's possible. I know that for our employees, like we're actually letting them do that. So it's flexible, but I actually say the word flexible. You're going to be able to make money as an undercover shopper. Now, we know that there are positions that allow for undercover shopping. So maybe that's not a big red flag, but then here we go. So 15 hours a week, $80,000 plus bonuses. So not just $80,000 a year, but you also get bonuses, and you're only working in a third of the time of everybody else on the planet. So, that's not even a 40-hour work week. You're making 15 hours a week. You're making $80,000. What could you do if you actually had a job like this? That would be some nice pocket change for sure. And then, no interview is necessary. They're going to just give you $80,000 and never, ever, ever have to even meet you or talk to you or anything like that. Plus, you get to choose your own schedule. So, those are all things that kind of don't add up. So, let's see what Google says about it. What did we notice? All right. So, employment scams are different. They often are jobs that seem too good to be true. They can state that they require very little hours and they pay very, very well. Actually, in this space, in this world, in this environment right now, you're actually seeing those be real jobs now. It's the gig economy, so that's a little bit harder to decipher. However, scammers will claim that you are able to earn lots and lots and lots and lots of money by doing some things very easily from home, like working online or like online shopping or online video games. Okay. You might respond to a job posting that you found on a website and find the employer wants to hire you without ever having to interview and absolutely no background check. The scam may start as soon as you're applying to the job. Why? Because every application, you're going to have to give over your email address and some personal information in order to obtain that job. So there you go. They got you. It might start right after they've hired you, but those kinds of things are always things to be on the alert about. You can also see this happen when it comes to asking for your bank account information. So, like, how are they going to process your payments to you? One sign of an employment scam is if you are asked to pay something to start up front. So be aware that employment and MLMs are two different things. So multi-level marketing, those are two different things. Pyramid scams are even different from that. So you might be told that in order to start the job, just pay for training and then pay for, all the software, a couple of credit reports, pay for all these different things that you have to do up front, and then we'll start you off. Now, some jobs that actually is happening. So again, it's a red flag to me about whether or not I would accept that job. But what Google is saying is that it's also a red flag to whether or not you should be providing your information to obtain that job. Okay. So an honest employer will never ask you to pay money or provide your credit card information to give you a job. Spotting employment scams can be difficult because legitimate employers may also ask for personal information. They usually ask about your social security. They usually require your social security number before you start work and also ask for your bank account information because they have to do things like set up direct deposit. Those are legitimate practices. Like, we are required as employers to actually have that information on file, as well as, like, in the state of Virginia, like, because my business is in the state of Virginia, I actually have to pass that information off to our state government, so they have it too. You don't want to provide that information unless you're certain that the job is legitimate and that it's not a scam. So you want to make sure that you're keeping yourself protected, and you can ask for things like their EIN, the employer identification number. That's the number that we have to use to report things like taxes. You may ask for any other forms of legitimacy based on whatever kind of industry you're in. So it can be a little bit difficult, and so sometimes you just gotta say no. So if you don't like something and it feels weird, just don't do it. And that's the best way to keep yourself safe. All right. So then that's next. So the good saying, it's too good to be true. Sometimes that's true. So if it causes you to act on emotion, if it's too good to be true, then oh my God, this sounds amazing. And so that's an emotion. So just check that emotion at the door, and then make a clean decision based on the type of person you are. What resonates with you, what doesn't, what are you willing to allow for, what are you not willing to allow for. Scammers often make offers that are just too good to be true, and it works in the same way as if they're creating urgency. You're the one who's gonna get excited, and then you don't stop to think about anything. So just take a beat, take a breather, and just stop. The ad you're looking at, or the ad that we looked at, offered a job with very high pay. It only required 15 hours of work, and there was no interview required. So that's how they got you. Like, oh shoot, who wouldn't do that? Like, I could spend an extra 40 hours a week with my kids, things like that. I don't have any kids, but maybe you do. Scammers offer you an opportunity to make a whole lot of money with no effort. They pose as an enthusiastic recruiter. Now, this actually happened to me. There was a company out here posing as Citi. And so this happened to me, I would say, about 8-9 years ago. And so it's an online scam that was going on even then. And the folks reached out to me. It was for a process management position, and they were saying that they were building up this new organization over in Richmond, and they wanted to staff up. And so they were like, "You've been hired," and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And so then, at the minute I actually input my information into the system, they were able to swipe. And so those are things that you don't want to ever do. The other thing that I will say is all employers in the United States, and because we're broadcasting globally, so all employers in the United States are required to fill out an I-9 for every employee. So an I-9 is verifying your identity, right? So we make sure that everybody is legally employable. So if you are not asked to do that, then you might question that. If you are asked to do that, and the things that you need to do to keep yourself safe, don't ever send over copies of your social security card. If they're asking for your driver's license, that's normal, but they should not be asking you for copies of that social security card. And if they do, don't ever put those things in the same email, because that email can get sniped by somebody. If somebody else has very bad practices, like in their storing of emails and customer data or employee data, all of that is going to be putting you in jeopardy. So we want to make sure that you are safe. All right. So those are different ways that that can show up. Now, request for payments. So the reality is that whenever an employer is going to ask you for money up front, first of all, they probably don't have money to pay you. So that's probably a red flag. Second of all, that makes it more of like a club or a community than it does a job opportunity. So think about that. In addition to that, you shouldn't be paying for training. You shouldn't be the one to pay to complete your own credit check. The things that they do allow you to pay for is having the employment verification package put together wherever you are in the world. Because you're going to have to go out, and in most cases, you have to get that notarized. That notary, I am also a notary signing agent, so that notary sets their own fees. And so there may be a reimbursement program depending on your employer, but sometimes that's the kind of thing that you can eat as a new employee. You should also not be required to provide personal information like your address and social security number, bank account information until you've been offered the job. Okay, so once you've been offered the job, that's a requirement that they have that on file. But if you haven't been offered the job, why are you giving anybody your social security number? That should be the thing that you keep very, very close to your heart and at hand. Like, don't just give that out. So for Web3 folks, your social security number should be like your seed phrase. You don't give that to anybody. And your seed phrase should be like your social security number. You don't give that to anybody ever, never, never, ever, ever. Okay. All right. So next up, possible signs of scams. We don't want you to have scams. We also know that things happen. So this one is one that you're going to have to determine for yourself if this looks like a scam, but it is typos, right? So people have typos. Now, Google says that legitimate companies have proofreaders, and that's usually true. But sometimes you're going to work for a small business. Sometimes people are doing things on the fly late at night. They're like overworked and all that stuff. Like that's why they're asking for people to be employed. So sometimes typos happen. It can show up in the form of a missed word, a incorrectly spelled word. But those are the things that you want to kind of look out for, and maybe it might be an indication of whether or not that's legitimate. It is possible for legitimate companies to make mistakes, but most will have someone who can proofread the work, so it's not as common, right? So another sign of a potential scam is a mistake in the design elements of a communication. So think about that. If a scammer is impersonating an actual company, the company's logo or related images might just look slightly off, okay? So, for example, the sizing or the color of the logo might look slightly off because they're not adhering to that brand or to that company's branding policy. They're just trying to get you to sign up for whatever it is, right? Like they care less about how that logo looks on there. Like they just want you. But a lot of these guys are getting better and better and better. So we're seeing that over and over and over. All right. So um, scammers are very careful. They might make the materials look really, really convincing. So just because a communication is error free and the logos look right does not mean that you should trust that communication. So what do you do? So if you'd seen this ad, like what would you do? If you see a job that advertised online and appeared to be true, the first thing you're going to do, or to appear too good to be true, you're going to verify it with an internet search. So the first thing you want to do is go out to Google and search. You're going to search for the name of the company, search for the job title, and then search for the name of the contact if you've already been in contact with somebody, right? So make sure that you're going out to seek other sources. Uh, you can also type in the community's name and the word scam into an internet search and see if others have experienced similar scams. So that's actually really helpful. So um, I do this all the time, literally all the time. So if I'm, kind of cautious or being wary of something, then I will go out and I will try to find out, has someone else called this a scam? I will look up person's name associated with the word scam. I will look up um, I will look up phone numbers that call me associated with the name scam because there's a lot of sites that people go to, and when people get scammed, they love to talk about it. So they go and they run and tell that to everybody. So it's all over the internet somewhere, right? So don't pay for training or on the job or other job associated costs ahead of time unless you are sure that that is an actual company and that company is actually having your best interest at heart. And even then, you are taking that risk. Okay, so be okay with the fact that you took the risk, and just adjust your risk tolerance if not. Most importantly, don't give away your personal information until you have a job offer and you verify that the job is legitimate. Right. So those are all ways that you can make sure that you are staying safe. All right, so how do you use Google to verify a job search or job offer? So you are going to be able to research and go to google.com in your browser. You're going to type in, and this works for all the different things that I said. So you're going to be able to type in to Google and see what comes up. All right, so the Google should look the same no matter when you're going there. You can search for it by clicking on the search window in the middle of the page. And then you're going to click on the search bar and start typing. And when you're typing, you're going to be able to type in that company's name and then job or career or the name of the job and see what comes up. Now, when you are searching here, you're going to be able to type in, also type in the name of the job and scam with that company's name and see if anything comes up. If a company's legit, they should have their professional website. If you're being scammed, you might find information about it on someone else's website, right? So they might say, "Hey, this is what's going on over here," and this is what. All right. So you've got a perfect connection. Oh, this is the other type, right? So we're gonna move on. So we're done with talking about how to search. But like I said, all of those methods that I talked about, like you're able to search the company, the job description, and the past history with scams. And I mean, even then, like if somebody is calling someone a scammer, like we know that that's not 100% validation that there was a scam. That person felt like they were not dealt with in the best manner. But when there's hundreds of people who've been saying, "Nope, I got scammed, blah blah blah, this is a scam," check sites like Indeed, check Google Jobs, check there's Glassdoor. There's lots of different sources you can use for jobs to actually find them. LinkedIn is another great source. Businesses are putting their jobs out on LinkedIn more and more. So it associates itself to the brand, to the business. And we know that LinkedIn is usually one of the first things that come up when you're talking about a person or their profession or what their company is doing. So make sure that you're checking all those kinds of sources too. All right. Now, let's talk about this one. This one is fun as we are winding into the next section of this. Romance scams. Romance scams. Everybody wants to fall in love because why not? You can connect with a person on social media, and that person, whether you're in the metaverse or you meet that person on Instagram, or you both had like this really great comment that resonated with each other, maybe you guys um, met on a Google Meet or a Zoom or something, like you found this person and this person found you. They seem like they're a perfect match. The relationship goes really quickly, and you find that you have lots of things in common, lots of experiences in common, lots of things in common, lots of people in common. You invite them out for a date, but they're just never quite able to meet you in person. You get to know each other and you're chatting and you're texting every day and you're in heaven. After a week or two, they reach out to you and they say, oh my gosh, something has happened. We're having a medical emergency, and all of a sudden they need you to help them pay for their medical bills. Or I'm having this party they've invited me to, and I need this perfect dress. Or I need my rent paid, or I need my utilities paid, or something, 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 something. How about a new car? They are reaching out to you and they are reaching into you for your money. So think about all of those things. These are romance scams, and romance scams are on the rise. So online scammers are using people's emotions to get them. It is particularly true for dating scams and romance scams. According to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, American people lost $304 million to romance scammers in 2020. Now, if you're in Web3, you know that number is infinitesimal when it comes to the amount of money that gets lost in crypto every week. But you also know that romance scams are a thing in the cryptocurrency space as well. So they are up by about 50% since 2019. And so that was pre-pandemic. Dating and romance scams can be initiated online through social media, through a dating site, through a website, through the metaverse, through anything. And for their profile pictures, they're using gorgeous, drop dead people that want to that everybody wants to be with. Apparently, they find these pictures online, and they get them. They may even be getting them from other social media profiles, or be getting them from other dating sites. So if your dating site that you're using is actually posting pictures on the internet, they might be using a scraper to grab those. So that is also something to be aware of. So scam relationships go really, really fast. They go faster than innovation in Web3. And so without any face-to-face interaction, this romance is on and popping. When someone asks to meet in person, something happens. So a last minute emergency happens. They don't want you to connect, or the scammer claims that they're too far away to visit, or there's some other issue that keeps them from traveling. While all of those things could be true for anybody at any point in time, having them happen repeatedly when you try to connect with this person um, is ironic, right? It's something that needs to be investigated. The scammer soon eventually claims that there's some sort of financial emergency and they ask you for money. So they may be asking you for payment via their credit card, gift card, some big, huge purchase, or something to supplement, life as it goes on. If the scammer is receiving payment, the requests will continue over time, but they will also increase over time. So they are coming for you. They know that you're a sucker and they are coming for all of your worth, right? So don't feel bad about that. Just fix it, right? So we've seen these. I don't know if y'all seen them, but I've certainly seen these happen. And we see them all the time, and it is funny in some cases, but it's also really sad in others because a lot of times the people who are targeted are our older community or our lonely community, people who may not be fitting into normal romance situations and things like that. And Hey, Amy, we've got an unmuted mic. We're gonna mute you because it's loud in your background. Okay. Uh, just type in chat if you did want to unmute. Okay. So these are the things that we need to be aware of. So romance scams. They're targeting people who are kind of on the outliers of our community and who don't have people that they can just go to and say, hey, does this sound right? Even when they have people who say this doesn't sound right, oftentimes the romance is what keeps them there. And so they keep coming back and they are enjoying the fact that they have somebody to talk to, somebody to lean on, some new relationship that they can tell the girls about, or, this girl that is just to die for that they can tell all their guy friends about. So there's something about this person. There's so much charisma in them and around them that is very helpful to them, and it's boosting the energy in their life, so they're happy with it. And then the money starts to come, and it keeps coming. They keep coming back for more and more. All right, so these scams, we already talked about a lot of the things that these scams are doing. It starts with someone who seems just too good to be true. So they're that unicorn, right? They might find pictures of other people that they are placing online, and they claim that they're actually pictures of themselves. Next up, the urgency happens. So they are telling you that there's some emergency now that you've gotten to know each other. Now they need the money. Okay, so they need the money. Once you send over the money, that scammer uh, is going to keep coming to you for things. Now, if you don't send over the money, then that scammer may just drop off and you may never see them again. And then somehow they are going to get you to pay for that. There's lots of ways that these romance scammers can ask you for money. Comes in the form of money transfers, wire transfers, gift cards. All those things can help you cover their expenses and help them float through life without ever having to actually tap in. So, what would you do? If you had become involved in a romance scam online and you were starting to wonder if someone were a romance scammer, what would you do? Anybody that's in the Google Meet, what would you guys do if you were having, you had been in this instance of being scammed? You guys can unmute if you want to ask a question or if you want to tap into it. Okay. We're going to keep going. So what would you do? What could you do? Some things that you could do is, first of all, just take things slow. Like we don't like to do that these days. But take things slow. Get to know somebody before getting serious about relationships. Take things slow. Insist on meeting in person if that's your flavor of doing things. If not, get on a Zoom. That's technically in person. Make sure that that person takes off their profile picture and actually reveals themselves to you so that you can see them and you know that that's actually a human being on the other side of that. And then from there, you can decide whether or not they match up to the pictures and profiles that they've been putting out there, or if they're lying to you from the beginning. And then from there, like that's not even a solution, right? Like that's just getting to the meat of the thing. From there, you then have to decide if this is somebody that you are willing to continue to be with, even though they have not been 100% honest with you, or if you're going to continue and proceed with caution because you're okay with what they presented and the whys behind the thing. That's up to you. Now, if your family and your friends are all expressing concern about your new online relationship, take a minute and think about it. Now, they're not always right, and we know that family and friends are not always right, but think about it with consideration. Okay, so when you start talking to somebody, you can get other photos. If the person you're communicating with is a scammer, they might be using the same photo over and over again. And so I would say this as somebody who literally uses the same photo in a whole bunch of different places. I use that photo because I don't feel like I just take good photos. So you see me, I'm here, I'm a real person, I match my pictures somewhat, like that's me. But if I were always showing up in my avatar and never actually showing you who I was, that might be a reason to be concerned. So you can kind of weigh things like what do they look like? How do people show up? What is normal in your space? So we're heading into a world where the metaverse is coming into play. And so as a gamer, for me, historically, I have had to um, be able to make these decisions like on the fly. Romance in gaming is a real thing. I've been that person, been there, done that. Uh, don't have any shame about that. But I can also say that there's a level of of intimacy that comes when you're not with someone in person that you have to develop because you're remote. So that's different. And without getting too deep into that, you have to be able to trust. And if you cannot trust that person, then it's not going to go anywhere. So that's not unlike a regular in person, face to face physical relationship where you're seeing each other on a daily basis. So just decide what works for you, what is normal in the situation that you're in. Because in the future, which is coming very fast now, you're going to be seeing people show up as their avatar. And eventually, those people are not going to want to be seen as anything other than their avatar because that's going to be a part of their brand. So we're going to have to create some balance between what does it look like to be me? What does it look like to show me? And, what are you comfortable with? So maybe in the future, you're not someone who's comfortable with somebody who shows up as their avatar all the time. Like maybe you know that avatar, or you've had conversations with that avatar, but you want to have a romance with that avatar. So think about things like that, right? All right. So how to prove that you are that they are the person that they claim to be? You can ask them some questions. If you're feeling very, very concerned, you might ask them to take a picture with the newspaper that's dated today. Find a way to put them in place with time. And time would be today I did this. And then take that picture and you can actually drop it into Google and see if anything else comes up for that same person with that same video or that same picture. Like videos are even better because then you can see somebody like actually talking and getting to know them even more so than just a static picture, right? So if they can't send you a photo, then it's kind of obvious that they either aren't that into you or they don't want to share themselves with you. So again, you're going to have to make your own personal decisions from here. So definitely take your time, meet in person, be safe, be in public. Don't send them money and listen to friends and family. All right. This is one of my favorite tools in this whole world. I mentioned this a second ago, but we're going to talk about how to do a reverse image search. So we have a lot of options when it comes to how to research things and how to use Google. A lot of us know how to use Google search. I took a Google search class like years ago, like 2012. I got certified in that. So there are a lot of different ways that you can use Google to be smarter about what you're doing. One of them is Google image search. So you are able to take an image and drop it into Google Images and then search for that image, right? So you can start by going to Google Images, and that is going to be at images.google.com. Type that into your browser, the address bar, and then you're going to be able to click on the camera icon, which allows you to search by image, and then click the tab to allow you to upload an image. So that image comes up on screen. That comes up on screen, and it comes up on the Google Images home tab. Let me go back really quick. And then you're going to be able to choose to browse for the file that you want. You're going to upload that file and then click on open. Now, what happens from here is really, really cool. So the results are going to show you possibly related images and pictures. Okay, so if you see the exact same image somewhere, then you might know that that person either is in all these multiple places, so you can go research those places, or you're going to know immediately that that person is not who they say they are, and that person's face comes up in some weird places. So why is that? So then you can see whether or not it's supposed to be them, or if maybe somebody else is using their image, because that matters too, right? And you can ask them about it. So now that we've gone through the different types of scams, we're going to recap some signs of potential scams that we've covered. So first of all, if it's a scam, it's going to sound like it's too good to be true. It is also going to create a sense of urgency that, this has to be done now and there's no other way to do this, do it now. There's going to be possibly some links or attachments that don't feel or look right. You can click on a link or attachment, but when you do, it can put your device at risk. So make sure that you're being aware of the different things that you can do. And remember, when you see a link, you can always hover on that link and it will show you in the bottom left-hand corner of your browser window, it will show you where that link is actually going to. And so then you validate and verify whether or not that's the right domain. All right. And then finally, there's going to be requests for personal information. So remember, they're trying to get at you and get all of your information out of you. So that is what the goal is. Uh, Additional signs of scam, they're asking for payments. This can be in the form of love or in the form of a new job or in the form of some major event that is going on. That's another type of scam that's out there is event scams, um, where people are saying that, hey, we're doing a drive. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so a lot of these happen during Breast Cancer Awareness Month because they know that everyone is sympathetic to the cause and they want to help and support and find a way to cure breast cancer. Well, there are fraudulent people out here. I used to work with one, matter of fact. After I left, I found that this girl that I worked with actually told the whole world that her son had cancer, and she created a whole entire drive, a fundraising drive to collect money for this little boy. And she put her son at risk. She put everybody that she knew at risk. These things actually do happen. And so if you've ever been involved in working for a bigger company, like maybe somebody who's been either impacted and or somebody who has actually done something like that, like it's pretty rare, or it's not as rare as you think it is what I meant to say. Okay, so when you see typos and spelling errors in communication, it might have come from a suspicious source or somebody who's using a phone that they have Glide on, and Glide is not their friend. That is my case, but in other people's cases, sometimes they might be scammers. So make sure that, when there's supposed to be something that is, verified, vetted, and validated, that it looks like it's professional, it's verified, validated, and vetted, and that information is good to go. You got to do the research. Now, threats. Threats can cause you to worry that you're going to be in trouble. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. So take those threats and take them in stride. Take a breath and see what's actually going on. So make sure that you're getting those threats from legitimate sources, if that's the right way to be threatening you. That is the question. If there, nobody should actually be doing that to anybody, but there are, certain folks out here who run, what are they? They run debt collection services, and we've seen those tactics come out over time. So they are doing that in some cases. If you're not in debt to anybody, and there's just a threat that comes out of the blue, hey, I need you to pay your utilities right now, otherwise we're turning them off. And it's like, wait a minute, I paid this last month. What the heck are you talking about? That's the kind of thing that you need to be able to head off. Now, in that utilities scenario, do not give them information to process your information. So in that scenario, if they're coming to you and they say, hey, we're going to cut off your utilities, or we're going to cut off your phone and we just need you to make a payment right now, they should know your account number. But that should not be a minimum for you to make that determination. Like, you should actually call the original company back and just see what's going on. But at a minimum, they should know your account number. So why are you asking me for my account number if you're calling me, telling me about my account? Use reverse logic, reverse engineer that whole process. What should you have access to if you're calling me about something that you service for me? That's a good question to always ask, right? All right. So now, protect yourself from online scams. So we've covered 3 types of scams. They can always apply. The stuff that you've learned today can always be applied to other types of scams. Just know how to spot one, how to spot some common signs of it. I want you to keep in mind that many of these signs apply to different things different forms of communication. So just because like we went over an email, that same thing can be used for your DMs and your back channels on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those things. Keep yourself safe. Be mindful of what we learned here today. Use your notes as a way to reference and remind yourself of what you learned here today. Your Google Doc is going to be saved automatically, so you can always come back to that. It's going to be located in your Google Drive. You can always open it or read it again if you want to learn more. So how do you do that? We're going to walk through really quickly how to use Google Drive and find the document that you just created. So going back to our beginning steps, up in the, if you're on google.com, you're going to go to the app menu up at the top. You're going to click on the little dial pad. It looks like a dial pad. And then you're going to click on, when you click on that, it opens up the context menu. And that context menu pops open with a whole bunch of apps there. These are all apps that we're going to be training on for the next several months here until the end of the year. And then find the one that says Google Drive. Now, if you reorganize the way that this list looks, it's going to be different for you, but you'll be able to select that. And then once you click on Google Drive, you will see that new document that we just created for this particular workshop. All right, so we covered a whole lot about online scams. We talked about strategies you can use to keep yourself and your information safe. You set up a Google Doc and you were able to take notes and you learned how to use that and then go back to your Google Drive and pull it back up. We also talked about what online scams are and discussed the two main things that scammers are looking for from people online, and that is the money and the information. And so we also discussed how to stay safe. We went through 3 types of scams, which is an email scam, a phishing scam, a job scam, and a romance scam. And then finally, we reviewed major signs of and major warning signs of scams. While we didn't cover literally everything in today's topic, we are able to recognize some signs of scams that can help us be safe. The goal of this workshop isn't to be exhaustive. It wasn't to make you afraid of the internet or anything like that. Instead, our goal was to just provide you with some powerful and meaningful information about scams, and so that you're able to spot them. This is going to help you to be better on the internet and help you to navigate a little bit more freely, but it's also going to be able to keep your money and your personal information really, really safe. Okay, so that's what's important about this. All right. So if you enjoy video lessons, if you want to follow along with us here at Black Multiverse, you're able to go to blackmultiverse.live, connect with us on YouTube. That will take you to our YouTube page, and you'll be able to be notified anytime we're live, as well as when we have uploads. If you are wanting to actually participate in these sessions, you're going to be able to go to Google, to blackmultiverse.io and then /basics. So that's the link there. It is blackmultiverse.io/basics. And when you are looking at that, you're going to be able to actually connect with us and sign up for every week, because every week on Tuesday and Thursday, we're going to have a new topic. We're going to be going over things progressively that get a little bit more complicated as the year goes on. We're starting out with the basics, and we're going to navigate into things both for personal use and for business use that are going to help you to be more savvy as you're out here on the internet. So you're going to have acquired some skills by the time that we are done with everything, and you're going to know that you have grown with Google, right? In addition to that, we have Google Career Certificates. So if you are interested in a Google Career certification in one of the following fields, you are able to register using the link below at Grow Google Certificates, and those are courses that are offered through Coursera. The other way to do that is to become an employee with Black Multiverse Enterprise. All of our employees are receiving Grow with Google certification in one of these fields, plus IT support with automation. And so that is Python automation, so you learn how to use that. The difference between the ways of achieving this is with Black Multiverse Enterprise. One, you get the goal of being one of our employees as well. And that is going to help you skill up in both Web 2 and Web 3 functionality. And then you also are getting that for free. That is a scholarship as a part of our program with Google. Not Grow with Google, but Google. When you do it through Grow with Google, there are nonprofits that are able to dispense those certifications to folks. There's usually different criteria for being able to obtain those. And then the other way to do it is to go out to Coursera and pay for your own courses. So you do have that option for sure. All right. So really quickly, Grow with Google is an initiative that helps people to prepare for work, find jobs, and grow their business. Job seekers can grow in skill and help advance their careers. Teachers learn how to put the latest technology to work for them inside and outside of the classroom. Small business owners can help build their online presence and find new customers, and startups can learn how to get their ideas and exposure they need to succeed. Developers help sharpen their current skills and master new ones. Okay, so those are different ways that you can grow with Google. We are going to go ahead and end this portion of what we're doing. I am going to keep things going though, because when we come back, we are going to be talking about how to stay safe in Web3, because that's the other area that I am highly involved in. And so we're going to be talking about how to stay safe in Web3. And I'm going to be connecting with those who are on our Google Meet and making sure that we have answered any questions that they might have about online scams. We're going to review a scam that actually almost got me a couple days ago. So stay tuned if you want to see that. Otherwise, we appreciate you always. Thank you for tapping in. If this was beneficial to you in any kind of way, please go to blackmultiverse.live and subscribe. Please also follow us on Twitter. We are at BLK underscore multiverse. And on Instagram, we're at black underscore multiverse. So you're able to connect with us in any kind of way. Also, to sign up for Tuesday and Thursday, you're going to connect with us at blackmultiverse.io/basics. And that is going to get you to the Google registration page for this session. Get signed up so that you get the email notifications for Tuesday and Thursday of next week. And we have a treat planned for you on on Thursday of next week. We're going to be co-hosting a training session with the Flames Foundation, Fred Brandon's Flame Foundation. We are both Grow with Google partners, and so we are going to be teaming up. And we haven't decided what the topic is going to be yet, but we're going to team up to provide an out-of-this-world training with those of us involved. So definitely stay connected, guys. We are doing big things here. And so I want to take a minute. We're going to have a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back. And there will be more Grow with Google after these messages. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm just over here talking up a storm and I'm on mute the whole time. That's awful. So I have to keep going. So I'm sorry about that. But we are we are talking about the future of the internet and some of the ways that you can stay safe when we're talking about the metaverse. Short and sweet of what I just said. Um, as we're heading into the metaverse has always been it is being created around the concept that you're familiar with in gaming. So if you weren't a gamer, you might not know some of this stuff. If you were a gamer, like you absolutely get it. You're here, you got it. Like, nobody even has to tell you anything because you've already been here. So that's where I come from this world of gaming. And in gaming, we've had virtual experiences that include thousands of people that we're commonly hanging out with people who we don't know, who, we have a whole lot of fun with, and we have no idea who they are in real life. That's what's coming for the future of the metaverse, and that's okay, right? Um, but one other thing that's coming is the ability to be scammed in that way. So we just talked about how you have to verify, validate, and vet. But let's stay safe when we're talking about virtual spaces. One thing that gamers did, and that lots of gamers do and have done forever, we've had the concept and idea of a IGN. IGN is your in-game name. So that is a name that you're going to use when you are out and about in these metaverse spaces. And that helps keep you protected from your real name being out in these virtual spaces with a whole bunch of people who you don't know. So I use technical, right? Lots of people know me now as both. It's a really weird space where like I'm bringing all this together instead of keeping them separate like I have my whole life. But that's one way that you can keep yourself safe. So if you're visiting a new metaverse experience, come up with a name or a tag or a name for your avatar, however you want to call it, a pseudonym that you use in spaces that are virtual. Okay, so sometimes it's more appropriate to use your full name, like if you're going to be an avatar at work, then use your full name. But if you're just going to a virtual space, consider not doing that. You never know the intent and the reach of people who are around you. Okay, so that's one way. The other thing I wanted to do was present some things here, and that is to show you what has been going on my email. And so I want to show you. Um, so I am what am I trying to say? I am the founder of a community. That community is called Blackverse. Okay, so I want you guys to kind of focus in on this message right here. And so it's this one that is not open, and then this one that is open, and I almost replied to it, but notice it's sitting in the draft section. This email was sent to me, and it says that it's from Nifty. Now, Nifty is a reputable NFT marketplace. And so you're able to create your own NFT marketplaces there. And so I did. I have one for the Blackverse community out there. Now, the first two messages are legit messages. They're from my weekly newsletter that they send out to people. But then these messages kind of get into this this phishing routine, right? So now I'm going to show you, um, and hopefully, are you seeing that here on the Google? Yeah. Okay. So now, like, this is the actual email. So, um, I have an email, and that email was sent to me. Oh, wait, no, sorry, not that one. Okay, so this is the email that I received, right? So this was the one from October 3rd. So this was 10 days ago today. In this email, they say, "Hi there," and they don't call me by name. "Hi there." So first of all, we're looking at this email with the same lens of the training that we just got, right? So the first thing I noticed when I looked at this was who this was coming from. I can't say that. The first thing I noticed when I looked at this was that they were reaching out to me for customer support. Now we're talking about Web3. And so in Web3, it's a little bit different than everywhere else. Like we don't really do the whole customer support thing in the same way. That is slowly changing as more people and more companies are coming to the blockchain. But for the most part, you don't get this kind of service from people. So that might be a good thing. It might be a bad thing. I'm not really sure yet. We're not there yet. But right now, we're in the foundational stages of this thing, and that just doesn't exist. So that's the first thing that caught me off, and then it caused me to go back and really look with a really close lens at what was actually happening. So I'm going to read this. So hi there. First off, I want to say that your NFT project has great potential. You've done a great job laying the groundwork for your project thus far. Well, thank you. I'm Lily, not Lily, but Lily, a digital marketer from Nifty, the platform powering your NFT marketplace. Because of the unique potential of your NFT project, we'd love to assist you with the best of our ability. Anything that you can help with, that you need help with, whether it be a question or a complete walkthrough of our platform, will be personally assisted by Sam Tran, our customer success manager. Book a call with us today, and we'll try our best to help you achieve success with your NFT marketplace. Oh, and if I'm barking up the wrong tree here, point me into the direction of who's in charge. Now, this message alone is great and amazing customer service. Like, this person is totally in the wrong business. Like, they literally need to go work in customer service as a success manager for somebody, because that's a great message. But it caused me concern because, again, this is supposed to be a business, and this business is using their domain at gmail.com. It's really weird, right? So it caused me to question it. So I didn't click anything, and I was getting ready to send them a message like, "Y'all are just really unprofessional. Why is this not like I was going in? That's what the draft is, right? In my inbox." And so I said, "Hold on," and I waited a few minutes, and I thought about it. I'm like, "Let me see something." So the first couple messages they sent me, I didn't reply. And then I started to reply to this one because it was like the third one that I had gotten, and it was like, "What are you reaching out to me for?" Or not this one. There's one after this that they came through, and they were like, "We're just trying to reach out to you, and you're not responding. Can we please get a hold of whoever's involved with the platform and maintaining the platform?" And I'm like, "But why? What's going on?" So I looked, I went out on the company website. I'm looking for messages from them saying, "Hey, there's something wrong," and there's nothing wrong. So my next step was to create a ticket. And so I went out on the customer support page. It is actually a forum, I believe, or no, it's their support portal, and they have the option to actually put in a ticket. And so I did. And in my message, I said, "Listen, there's two things going on here. One, you guys are sending me an email and asking me, for information about my marketplace, when it's like, this is Web3, so what are you doing?" A lot of us are not here for that kind of communication. So maybe send an advance warning that stuff like this is going to be happening so we know. And then two, you're like, why are you using a Gmail account when you have the option to have an unstoppable domain and have that domain be the one that everybody's seeing your emails come from? And so and what I mean by that is, instead of this coming from an at gmail.com, it should be coming from nifty.network. So if this was sent from, let's say, the person they said, which is Sam Tran, it would be like Sam Tran at nifty.network. And this .gmail.com, that would not be there. So it just sat weird with me. And so as business owners, I urge you, I implore you, please use your domains correctly. And that domain is a house for not only your email, for not only your website, but it's also a house for your email communication. So send your email communications from the actual website or from the domain that you are meaning to send them from. And if you need help with that, I can help you with that. I'm a consultant. I am a technical person. I can help you to adjust your Gmail so that you actually have these things and it's all safe. It's not, there's no, I'm not needing access to your Gmail to do that because I walked you through the steps of how to do that. Okay. So get that done. In addition to that, there are a whole lot of other stories that I could share with you. So just to wrap this one up, they came back to me from the support ticket because I gave them specific information and I said, hey, I got this email. I took a screenshot of it and I sent it to them. And then I said, hey, um, I need you guys to tell me if this is legit. And if this is legit, reply to me in this ticket so that I know that it's legit because I'm not answering anything else that comes from this person. And so they came back and sure enough, they said, absolutely not. And this is that email. They said, hey, Nicole, thanks for reaching out. We always use our domain to send our emails. And then they highlighted the email and they said, that is definitely a scam. So there you go. It pays to take a minute and just really think about what's happening, so that you are able to be better supported and that you are able to actually keep yourself safe. Like, think about if I had just been like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I'm tapping into this is my wallet address. Here's how you do that. You know what I mean? Like, they would then have that much more information about me and about what I'm doing. So keep yourself safe. It's not easy. It takes work. Don't be lazy. You got to keep yourself safe and make sure that you are doing the best thing for you, for your NFT project, for your business. And before you go, the one thing that every person on the planet in Web3 and in Web2 thinking about Web3 needs to know, do not ever, ever, never, ever, 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 ever give away your wallet password or your seed phrase. That seed phrase, you better act like that wallet always has $1 million, $10 million if you already have a million, and keep it safe. Put it in a safe deposit box. Make sure that you plan for it in succession planning. Make sure that you keep that seed phrase safe because if you should have all of your crypto go up, 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 as we all want to say, it goes up. And you are in the money and you don't have that seed phrase, or you let somebody else have that seed phrase, there is not a source on this planet that can help you. No one will help you get that back because it's not possible. So make sure that you protect that seed phrase with literally everything you have. I want to thank everybody for coming through today. Make sure that you tap in to Blackverse. That is the club that we have on Clubhouse. You're able to tap into Blackverse. It is a metaverse community. We talk about all things decentralization. We have fun every Friday night. We have movie night. Tap into Black Multiverse. We're going to be having more and more of these sessions as the year goes on every Tuesday and Thursday from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Standard Time. You're able to connect with us and enjoy learning about something that you may not have known before. So we definitely look forward to all the great things that are coming and all the great things. You guys, if you found this beneficial, if you learned something you didn't know, if you cracked up at any of these crazy stories in here, put that in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Reshare this because this is information that is vital that everybody needs to know. If you're watching this and you're coming from my distro list or from our community, tap in, let me know that you were here. And, I want to say to you guys, thank you for being here as always. This is Nicole and my voice is resting. Take care.